Short Me Tina here once again from shortmetina.com, and I wanted to do a quick update on ticker TSLA, Tesla. So right now what you're looking at is a daily chart for the past 5 or so years, and I wanted to do an update on Tesla because one, I haven't done one in a while, and I'm actually quite bullish on the stock. Now granted, I understand that I understand that the stock is off from its high of about 390, right? We closed today at 284, so we're about 100 points, or in other words, $100 off the most recent highs. But the reason that I'm still bullish is that just think back for the last 3 months or so, right? Think back for the last year. Heck, think back until from the time Tesla IPO'd, which I believe was back in like 2010, don't quote me, right? So with all the bad news baked in, right, the stock still has managed to sit at $284.54, right? And the high wasn't that long ago. The stock actually peaked late last year. So that's one of the main reasons that I'm bullish on Tesla. Not necessarily for anything fundamental, because I'm 100% from the belief that, and you have to judge the stocks from an individual basis, right? And this is not sort of to debate, folks that are fundamentalists versus people that are technical analysis. This is just my thoughts, right? And I'll speed it up really quickly. So you have to assess, in my opinion, individual stocks. Some stocks, right, trade based on fundamentals. Others, technical charts work to a T. And then some stocks, right, they just have like such a cult following, for example, like Apple and Netflix, Tesla, Amazon, that fundamentals kind of go through the window and people buy the stock for whatever reason, right? They just love the stock. And I think for Tesla, that's the case, hence why I've remained a bull for a long time. I was actually a bull prior to this sort of breakthrough of resistance. So let's look at the technical picture. So the technical picture is, again, stock is, it's a daily chart dating back to 2013. And you guys know that I love my ranges, right? I love to trade breakouts and ranges, etc. So dating back to around, let's say 2013, stock has actually traded within a tight range, right? We can say that range was from like $177 for sake of argument, to about, let's say, $290, right? That's the range. And late, and the base built up, right? It was building rather for about 4 or 5 years. We finally actually popped through the base, right? We broke through resistance, and then we went on to hit those recent highs of around, 390 something. You can look back. So we've retreated some, and while we sit at 284, so we're slightly underneath this resistance channel, and it depends on how you want to kind of manipulate and maneuver the line. Some folks might argue that we're above it, we're slightly below it. It doesn't matter. The point is that we're actually hanging out around that range. And we're hanging out around that range despite all the bad news that has circulated. You can just look back within the past week, within the past month, 3 months, etc. with Tesla. And even with all that news, not to sound repetitive, we still manage to sit here at 284, right? Most stocks get extremely decimated for sort of like, a miss on guidance, right? They can beat on revenue, miss on guidance, and they will get clobbered. Tesla, on the other hand, still hanging in there. So I say all that to say we're still sitting, and we can call this like the pivot point, that 290 area, right? So we're sitting right on that pivot line, right? I wouldn't advocate shorting below that line because, Tesla's one of those stocks, when it ramps up, it can ramp up really quickly. So still a Tesla bull, but obviously I am a slave to price action. So if anything sort of invalidate my thesis, then I'm scrapping it, because what's the point of keeping it if there's something that invalidates it? Right now, nothing has invalidated my thesis. I'm still a Tesla bull. I still think within this year, we are going to retest all-time highs. I see a 400 print, and I'm going to go out on a ledge, and I would say late 2018, early 2019, momentum is going to come back into the stock, and we can potentially see 500 to 600. So about, I want to say a couple of months ago, that sort of was my initial target for Tesla, right? $500 to $600, and I have not maneuvered from there. So that's my take on Tesla, right? We're sitting right here at that pivot spot, right? Right on that line, that resistance / support line. And we've kind of been hanging out there. I wouldn't advocate against shorting. In fact, I think this might be a decent area to go long. And that's my take on Tesla. So that's it. Short Me Tina from shortmetina.com. Head on over to shortmetina.com, sign up, become a member. Thank you for listening.